Hello everybody, my name is James, hope you're all doing well, and welcome back to another video. So what happened to Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez and George Russell in qualifying for the Spanish Grand Prix, and what on earth happened between the two Mercedes drivers? Make sure to like the video, and subscribe for more Formula 1 content, but let's jump straight into the news. So let's start with Charles Leclerc, who had an absolute disaster in qualifying. The track was damp, but was getting quicker as more rubber was laid down, but Leclerc just had no pace whatsoever. Teammate Carlos Sainz was very quick, able to qualify second fastest for the race, but in the newly upgraded Ferrari, Leclerc just couldn't do anything. And with the track evolving a lot at the end of Q1, Charles Leclerc only moved himself into P11, but it wasn't enough, with nearly everybody behind him finding time, and he ended up 19th. So overall a disaster, and Leclerc said the car was just too hard to drive through certain corners. He said, "I don't have the answers for now. The only thing I can say is the left-hand corners were undrivable. The right-hand corners, the feeling was very similar to this morning. There's just something off in the left-hand corners that we have to analyse and understand." So overall a mess, but I think surely it was a car problem. Like there's no way Leclerc would have been that far off on outright pace. But he wasn't the only driver to have a disaster. With George Russell and Sergio Perez being knocked out in Q2, it was the same conditions as Q1, with the track being a bit damp but getting quicker as more laps were set. But both Russell and Perez didn't have the pace. I mean, if we look at Perez for example, he went out at the end of the session on new tyres. They should have easily got him through to Q3, but he was well down in the first sector before going off the track. This completely ruined his tyres, and then on his second lap, he just wasn't quick enough to go through to Q3 and ended up 11th. So overall a disaster for Perez, who really does need to find some form soon. I mean, this weekend it looks like he'll drop a lot of points to teammate Max Verstappen, like he did in Monaco. And if we look at Russell, he could only manage 12th after failing to find any grip. I mean, he complained on the radio that the car was bouncing all over the place, with him having no confidence with the tyres. And he was nowhere near the pace of his teammate Lewis Hamilton, who was able to go 5th fastest for the race. But the big story in the Mercedes camp is what happens in Q2. Somehow Hamilton ended up right on the back of Russell at the end of the session, and with Lewis right in the slipstream, he pulled out to the left to try and get past. But the two got too close together and made contact. This left Hamilton with front wing damage, and as a result he had to back off, although it really didn't matter for him, as his first time in Q2 was good enough to get him through, but that's not an incident you want to have between teammates. And it looked like a miscommunication. Like from the replays, it looked like Russell moved over to the left to go round the Ferrari, but didn't know Hamilton was there, which ended up in the two making contact. Speaking about it on the radio, Hamilton said, "George just backed off. That's really dangerous. I might have some damage on the car." Now before the incident, Hamilton did look fairly quick, and looked like he could fight for the front row. Asked whether he had damage in Q3 after his contact with Russell, he said, "The car didn't feel massively different. Afterwards the car was pulling to the right. It was just a miscommunication thing. On the final lap, it was alright." And speaking about it after the session, George Russell said, "I wasn't even aware he was there. I was starting my lap, trying to take the slipstream from Sainz. Fortunately nothing bad happened." Now as I say, it looked like the incident happened due to a miscommunication, but after qualifying, Hamilton's former teammate Nico Rosberg said Hamilton should apologise to George, as going through could have ruined Russell's lap. He said, "George apologised, which I think is right, but I think Lewis also needs to apologise because if Lewis goes through, George's lap is done. Lewis would be right in front, and George would be stuck behind him, and his lap will be ruined. It was his last try to get into Q3, so Lewis needs to apologise later on." But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But that's going to be the video from me today. Thank you ever so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos, and until the next one, take care,